This is round 8 of Mansions of Madness. Where are we? We've got Carson with the evidence that we need to win the game in his pocket. And he is completely forestalled by these two cultists who just won't let him leave that space. There's Charlie trying to help out, doing like one points of damage sometimes. And then there's Minh and Rita. Minh, in the previous round, was attacked by the Deep Ones and dropped a random item. Rita has been trying to steal the kerosene lantern from Minh all this time because Rita has a secret agenda. She's insane. She has a secret agenda that she wants to burn the house down. Guess what random item Minh dropped? If you guessed the kerosene lantern, you're exactly correct. She dropped the thing that Rita has literally been trying to grab from her hand for the past round. This is good for Rita, bad for investigators. It wouldn't surprise me if Rita burns the house down and everyone goes down with it. Because, I mean, Carson is stuck, cannot get out of that space. He is also stunned, which means he can only take one action this turn. Well, his action is going to be to attempt to evade the people around him. I'm just going to do that off of the big bad, because it's too much trouble to do lots of checks just for each monster in the space. Vanderbilt shouts a few words in a forbidden tongue as you turn away. A lore check. If you pass, you recognize the words and escape. Okay. Well, Carson has 4 lore, and he has an old manuscript card, which grants him an extra dice for lore checks. That's 3 successes. So Carson has actually evaded. So he can move 2 spaces, which is huge. And then at the end of his turn, he gets to discard his stunned condition. So there is some glimmer of hope now that he has escaped. He is out of direct harm's way, and he is on his way out. That's really, really good. So now Charlie is going to continue to try to distract the big bads. Trying to take the attention off of Carson. So we're going to attack with a bladed weapon. He's got a knife that he's using. You whip the blade around, tracing vicious patterns through the air. Agility of 2. Charlie's agility is 2, so not a great chance at this working. Or I could be wrong, and he could get 2 successes. If you pass, the patterns are drawn in the blood of your foe. The monster suffers damage equal to the weapon's damage plus your test result. So that's a good 3 points of damage, which is the most damage we've seen in a while. So that's great. But, I mean, Vanderbilt is still only half. He's bloodied, but just barely. And I guess, the only thing we can do really at this point, honestly, is attack again. So we're just going to attack with that bladed weapon again. You attempt to bat your foe's defenses aside with the flat of your blade, strength 2. For Charlie, that's just 3 dice. For superstitious reasons, I'll put those 2 success dice aside and use different dice. You don't want to use up all your successes as superstition dictates. There we go. See, this is why we're superstitious. Okay, so this is a bit of a gamble, but, I mean, we're so late in the game at this point, I feel might as well. Charlie has some clue tokens, so I'm going to spend a clue token to get 3 successes. That might not... I say it's a gamble because that may have no additional effect. It's hard to know. If you pass, you take... I could have read, I guess. If you pass, you take advantage of the opening and strike true. The monster suffers damage equal to the damage plus your test. Perfect. So the damage for the knife is 1. The damage the 3 successes, so that's 4 damage. So this guy is literally 1 health point away from dying. That's great. It's also pretty darn frustrating because that would have been... It would be really great to take him out instead of not. He'd be better off the board than on the board, but that's what we've done. Alright, so there's Minh and there's Rita. Again, Rita wants to burn things down. Minh doesn't know what's going on. There's no reason to think that she would, have any notion of what Rita is planning. So I think what's going to happen is that Minh... I keep wanting to make Minh try to evade, and so I think that's what I'm going to do. I think it makes sense for her to try to get away from these monsters. It hasn't been working out, but I think, especially seeing Carson heading out, she probably understands that we're good to go. Let's get out of here. And Carson's frankly probably calling out to them, let's go, let's go, let's go. So I think she's going to first try to evade. If she fails to evade, she'll attack. As I say, she has no idea that Rita plans to pick up this kerosene lantern. I don't see any reason for her to pick that up. As I often say, though, playing this game as an RPG is a path to failure. So what I really should do is strategically pick this up. But even, if I wasn't playing solo, then I truly also wouldn't know Rita's goal. Although I would know that Rita had tried to grab the kerosene lantern from me, which probably would seem kind of weird. In fact, that is weird. All right, I'm going to roll a dice. Success, Minh picks up the lantern. Anything else, we do what I said. Okay, so that was not a success. That was something else. So she's attacking unarmed. You catch your opponent's wrist above your head, then pivot, twist, and attempt to throw. That's an agility test for Minh. Minh's agility is 4, so not bad chances. See what happens. 1 success and a bunch of failures. So I don't think that's a success. I think that's a failure. Yeah, that's a failure. If you fail, you accomplish little more than shoving your opponent around for a moment. Yeah, okay. So that was her... Oh, wait a minute. Was she evading or attacking? I think I might have had her attack on accident. All right, let's try to evade again. Yeah, I did. I had her do an attack. I meant to have her evade first. The deep one vomits a torrent of salt water onto the ground. Small fanged fish and strange tiny crustaceans pinch and snap for prey. Agility of 1. If you pass, you dodge. Okay. So agility 1 almost sounds achievable for me. She's got, again, 4 dice. She's got two successes there. So she does pass. She actually evades. Now, I mean, you and I know that this is going to be a short-lived victory because Rita has her turn now, and she's going to pick up the lantern, and then she's going to start a fire. And she needs to start a fire in 6 rooms before the game ends, and so she is taking the action of starting a fire. Now, I do have to tell the app that a fire has started, and I think I do that in the little book here, and I set fire confirm, and where is she starting the fire? She's starting the fire right over here. Oh, it doesn't care where it happens. And that is both of Rita's turns. Those are 2 Rita's turns. Am I forgetting anything? No, I think that's everything. Okay. So now we go to the Mythos phase. The fire spreads out of control. Place fire in a space adjacent to a space containing a fire. Okay, I can do that. Well, this is exactly what Rita wanted, so I'm going to put that fire over here. And I'm doing that partly because I have the ability to choose where the fire goes, and it seems silly to me if I was to put fire here. Although, frankly, maybe not. Maybe it would be better there, because then Carson can leave. But I think if you start your turn where there is fire, then you get damaged or something like that. I'll have to look that up in a moment. Because, Rita's definitely going to suffer damage. With a start, Minh Thi Fan snaps out of a fugue state to see smashed finery and deep gouges on the nearby walls. Could she have caused this damage in a blind rage? Minh Thi Fan suffers 3 damage. Strength +1 negates, and then she flips all of her damage face up. Well, that's just triggering the end game, isn't it? That's 3 damage. Oh, but her strength, she does get a strength check at least. Okay, so she's got 3 dice in strength. Okay, that's 2 successes. And she never re-rolled this round, right? She hasn't re-rolled she has that special ability to re-roll one die. Another success. So she got 3 successes, so I think that cancels all of the damage, right? 3 damage. Oh, and actually she didn't even have to re-roll because she had an extra dice, I forgot. So yeah, she's fine. And I'm assuming that the condition of then you turn all your damage face up is not dependent upon the success or failure of your roll, I think. That's how that reads to me. So she's got a broken leg. She's lightheaded, so she has to flip a horror face up. Okay, so we'll do this very, very procedurally. Broken leg. You fall as pain lances up your leg. When you try to stand, you fall all over again. Keep face up. If you move more than one single space as part of a move action, then you have to flip a damage face up. Next, lightheaded. Your vision swims. You worry that you are hurt much worse than it appears. Resolve immediately. Flip one horror face up, then flip this card face down. Okay, that's interesting. So, horror face up. Anxiety. Your worries are overwhelming. What can one person do against so much evil? Resolve immediately. Become stressed, then discard this card. Okay, cool. So she gets to discard a horror. That's nice. And she also gains a stressed condition. The stressed condition, of course, she's had this before. You cannot perform more than one single action during your turn. Or maybe she didn't, but Carson did. Someone had that before. Minor injury. No additional effect. Flip this card face down. Back spasm. You clutch at your back as your muscles revolt, forgetting your possessions for the moment. Drop one random item, then flip this card face down. One random item. Could she drop the stressed condition? That'd be nice. Let's drop this one, holy water. And then final damage card is Grim Resolve. The injury is serious, but you will not allow it to slow you down. The stakes are too high for that. Resolve immediately. Become focused. Well, she's already focused. Then flip this card face down. Okay, so still lots of face down damage, interestingly. So that was Minh experiencing a Mythos event. Vanderbilt moves 2 spaces to the nearest investigator. Well, he's already got an investigator right here. Vanderbilt grabs one of the items in your possession, attempting to wrest it from you. Strength 2. Oops, didn't mean to knock a cultist over. And that's 2 successes. So it doesn't sound like that's going to work out so well for Mr. Vanderbilt. If you pass, you maintain your grip. The cultist attacks, so he's also attacking Charlie. The cultist lurches forward and jabs you in the ribs, then swings the staff around to bludgeon your limbs. Suffer 2 damage, but strength negates. Strength for Charlie is 3. One success. So I think it was 2 face down damage? 2 damage, not face down. So just 1 damage because he got 1 success. And that cancels 1. Demoralizing injury. Resolve immediately. Suffer 1 additional face down horror. Then flip this card face down. Okay. Another horror card. It's 2, 4, 5. And he's got 9. So he's still fine. Charlie is fine. Like really, really robust is Charlie. The deep one attacks. Yeah, they're all going to attack Rita. The deep one is poised for an attack, and in one inhuman motion, it clamps down on your arm with its razor-sharp teeth. Suffer 2 face-down damage. Oh, and actually, you know what? The deep ones take a point of damage each, because they're in the space with fire. So I'll do that now. But anyway, it clamps down, and strength negates. Well, we know that Rita has 5 strength. And she gets 2 successes, some clues that don't do anything for her. So 2 successes is pretty good. I think that's probably going to negate everything. 2 face down damage, and it negates. Yep, it's good. Okay. And now another deep one is going to attack her. The deep one tackles you and begins to bellow as it viciously pummels you with heavy, wet fists. Suffer 2 damage, but a strength plus 1 negates. So same thing with a reroll as needed. Ooh, that's going to be a... Oh boy, that's not good. So it was strength +1, so there's the +1. Okay, so she got 1 success. So she does take a damage. Minor injury, no additional effect. Again, one of the best possible results. Alright, now we do the horror checks, which, as I've said before, I find a little tedious. But here we go. Vanderbilt brings clammy hands together in a wet, slapping sound. With each clap, a distant rumble like waves crashing against the shore sounds in the back of your mind. Willpower 2. So horror checks, I believe, are line of sight, if I'm remembering correctly. I better check. Horror step is the third and final step resolved during each mythos phase. During the horror step, each investigator resolves a horror check against a monster within range by selecting the monster from the... Yeah, so within range. That means, yeah. So I feel this is where this game kind of confuses me, because, I mean, like, if old Carson here was moving away from these guys, surely he would have closed the door behind him. Right? You wouldn't just leave the door open. You would close the door. And then you'd be well on your way. So I'm going to have Carson resolve a horror check against the deep ones. Because in my mind, he has shut that door. Because that's what you would do in real life. Just as when you're talking to someone, you don't actually have to move into their space to talk to them. You can just call out to them through an open door or whatever. So I don't know. I feel like the game, for being set in a mansion, has a surprising lack of sort of spatial awareness. So anyway, that's my complaint. I'm going to have Charlie up against this guy, Vanderbilt. And I've already forgotten what Vanderbilt wants us to do. Oh yeah, willpower of 2. Willpower for Charlie is 4 dice. That's 1 success, but he's got clue tokens. So he's going to spend a clue token. That's his last one for a success. So he's got 2 successes, meaning that nothing happens. So this deep one affects everyone else. A half-suggested familiarity causes you to frantically think back over your family tree, lore 2. If you pass, you are confident that you share no bloodline with these monsters. If you fail, you spiral into agony of ignorant dread. Suffer 1 horror and become stunned. Okay, so this is a lore check for everybody. Carson has 5 lore. I mean, really, he has 4 lore, but because he has a old manuscript, he can add a dice to his check. It looks to me like he's only got 1 success, which could be bad for him. Does he have anything that can help with clues? I forget. No, he doesn't. Oh, it's not this manuscript. Oh, no, it is. It's the manuscript. Willpower is the Holy Cross. Okay, so anyway, point is, it doesn't look like he's succeeded. It looks like he has partially succeeded. I don't know if that's going to help him at all, if partial success is a thing. If you pass, no, it's a pass or a fail. So he's going to suffer 1 horror, and he's going to become stunned. So the minor shock, no additional effects, that's brilliant. But then he does become stunned. Stunned condition just means that you cannot perform more than a single action during your turn. That's rather unfortunate because he is so close to the exit right now. Now it'll take him 2 turns to get out of the house instead of just 1 turn. That's so frustrating. You notice the oddly slick sheen of the deep one's flesh as its bulging eyes turn toward you. It blinks twice, once with its normal eyelids and again with another translucent pair. Suffer 2 horror, but your brain negates. So this is going to be for Rita. And her brain is, I think, 4. Her willpower is a 4. Yeah, willpower is 4. And I think I'll just do the same check for Minh, just for convenience, too. So Rita's fine. And then Minh is a 3 willpower. 2 clues, And she's got her cigarette case, her lucky cigarette case. Once per round, you may convert a clue to a success. So I think she'll use that. She'll use that to convert one clue to a success. So she gets one success. And so she does take one horror. Minor shock, no additional effect. Wow, I'm really getting lucky with these horror cards right now. And that's the Mythos phase. Okay, so before I thought we had just one more turn to go, one more round rather, because Carson was certainly going to be able to get out. Now that's not the case because Carson is stunned. So he can only take one action during his turn. So he's going to get down to the lobby, right to the front door, but he won't get out of the front door. So that's too bad. But what I'll probably do is just play two rounds next time. I think that's probably how it will go. I don't see anything that could screw this up. I think we have won this cycle of eternity. Tune in next time to find out for sure. Thanks for watching.